So we're back to the normal sunny Antholz for the final day of racing here before the end of the second trimester, and of course the preparation for the Olympic Games. We've got the men's relay coming up first, 4x7.5. Norway putting in an extremely strong team. And then later on we will have the women's mass start, only the second mass start of the season. That could turn out to be an epic battle. France, Mike, missing their two top guns.
Yes, that's quite a loss for the team. I think it's still a good team and a challenging team, but yeah, Jacqueline and Fillon Maillet resting up. It's a big loss for their team.
Thomas Bormolini, the brother of biathlon coach Luca Bormolini, who's been working with Campbell Wright of New Zealand. There's Luki Hoffer, hasn't gone quite his way so far this week. And of course the two Burr brothers teamed up yet again. Norway haven't won here since 2015, Mike, and the two Burr brothers were in the team then. Oleana Bjorndalen was in the team, Emil Hegler Svensson was in the team. That has to be one of the strongest ever.
That's those names just shine as winners, don't they? But today, the Norwegian team, I think this is their Olympic team. They've tried this team out earlier in the season with great success. They'll be the team to beat.
Russia might fancy the challenge. Anton Babikov, who won the individual, what was that, 3 days ago? He will be taking leg number 1. Serek Vostov on 2, Loginov back in action 3, Latyapov 4. No place for Kalili. I suspect Kalili being rested, but a pretty strong team, the Russians.
Yes, the Russians. Latyapov, sorry, on the ankle. He didn't shoot well in the mass start yesterday, missing what? 8 targets, unusual for him.
Germany, who go with Rees, Horn, Zobel, Fratscher, no Doll, no Kern, no chance, I would say.
Can't disagree with that, but you never know. There's no pressure on the German team at all.
There's Lygrid. Yeah, interesting watching him do the zero, Mike. I don't think we fully understood what he was saying, but the long and short of it is that he was realizing that when he thinks about it too much, it goes wrong.
Yes, and I think he did refer to last year where he had to use 2 spare rounds in his zeroing, and I think he was referring to that when he felt much happier today with the centering of his zeroing group.
Babikov, not the quickest, but I think he should be able to stay, certainly with the pace on the first lap. How uncomfortable he is trying to stay with it on the second and the third, we'll have to wait and see. 10th in the mass start yesterday, Babikov. Not a bad performance. 4 misses, which was slightly unusual. We would have put money on him hitting at least 18 out of the 20, but 16 out of 20. But it was a difficult day yesterday. Here's the course, and as a 4x7.5 each lap, 2.5 kilometers.
It's well, the shortest lap that they have, but it's very sharp. You have to take that first exit out of the range. It's a climb, a gentle climb, but it really hurts you at these high altitudes.
0 degrees. It's not a day for classic skiing, but what is it now? 35 years since biathlon had to do classic. But having said that, Mike, most of them have been seen out on a pair of classic skis just to just to train other muscles, give the skating muscles a rest.
Oh, very much. It is a huge part, and especially in recovery, just a gentle classic around the lake or onto some of these tougher tracks. They're all doing it as recovery sessions.
So 24 teams, as Mike mentioned. Moldova at the back, Kazakhstan, Poland, Japan, Slovakia. Their aim is to stay in the race as long as possible. Once you're lapped, you're out. And with Norway, Russia, France, Germany, will all be going full out, I think. The French team, actually, Mike, 4 men fighting for 2 places in the Olympic team. So that could be an interesting one to see who does best out of that lot. The Americans did well yesterday, starting with bib number 14 ahead of Austria. Been a while since the Austrians had a win. And then Takizaki, Kobayashi, Ozaki and Kodama for Japan. Roman Rees, big moment for him. He did really well in Oberhof, actually. I thought he looked good there, Mike. 2 top 10 finishes, but he could do with a clean shoot today. That might get the Germans in contention for a top 3, possibly. Belarus, 6th, 3rd. Their 3 results so far this season. They were 3rd last week. Their last win all the way back in 2004. Ukraine, 5th in the World Championships. That was a good performance from them. They only missed 4 targets in the day in Pakyuka. And certainly with Simbal, Pedrushny, Dudchenko, Prima, they have potential to hit the podium. The French certainly should be thinking about that. They won last year. They won the World Championships here in 2020. But no Jacquelin, no Fillon-Maillet, and that's going to make it tough should they slip off the pace at any stage. There's your Russian quartet. Can they make it 2 in a row, having won in Ruhpolding last week? These guys might stop them. Leigrid, Burr, Christiansen. It's pretty good on paper. They've won 11 of the last 18 relays. They are the world champions. They only got a measly silver in the Olympics. Sweden denying them on that occasion.
They're being held or asked to come to the start positions very early, and it really is nerve-wracking. Everybody's stomachs will be a little bit tingly, nerves clicking away there. It's a long, long hold.
Yeah, Leigrid fully focused.
1 minute!
Missed his razor this morning, but he's got other priorities. Leigrid 5th and 3rd in the 2 races so far this week here in Antholz. Rees for Germany, 18th in the World Cup standings. Germany wearing 4, Belarus 5, Ukraine 6, 7 is Sweden. Much weakened team, Stefansson starting for them, and then the Italians with Thomas Bulmalini wearing 8.
30 seconds!
The 4th of 5 relays for the 21-22 season about to start. It's Norway who wear 1, having won the first 2 relays of the season. 7th in Ruhpolding, which finally brought to an end their record of 17 successive podium finishes. 4 times, 7.5. Each athlete with 2 shoots, first in the prone, second in the stand. And the lap here in Antholz at altitude, 2.5 kilometres. With the sun out, Mike, the conditions are quick.
The conditions are quick, and Patrick, on the range, the shooting is as easy as we ever see here in Antholz. The wind was barely having any influence at all on the flight of the bullet as it goes down the range, and also the movement of the rifle. So very easy day for shooting, and I think we'll see some extremely fast shooting. You can take the risk because you've got 3 spare bullets if you miss any one of the first 5.
Good start from Fabien Cloud of France over on the far side. Those at the back just having to be patient. Really, they'll have to stay at the back until we come in to shoot for the first time. It's not really worth the effort. Stefansson's going to struggle, I think, to stay with the pace. Mike, he had a disaster in the individual. What did he miss? 8 shots missed in all, down in 89th position. He comes from Mora, or he comes from Augsburg, actually. I was thinking, I know the name, and it's the last village you go through at the end of the battle of it. So I certainly don't have very good memories of it.
It's, yes, at that stage of a 92-kilometre race, the memories, you remember that sort of stat or crazy thing. Just another interesting point, René Zachner, bib 17 today, bib 18 for Estonia, exactly 30 years ago, almost to the day. His father, Hiller, he started for the Estonian team. And in fact, he was an official, a technical delegate last week in rope holding. And Rennie Zachner, he often has a good start for Estonia. We may well see him handing over in the top 5.
Mukin of Kazakhstan just cruising along at the back. I think he's playing the right sort of game at the moment. Germany and Norway battling it out. Good start from Roman Rees. He comes from Oberhof, so he's had his home event this year already. And as I mentioned, he did pretty well there. Now Germany, Mike, only missed 2 rounds in the Ruhpolding relay. Only got them up in the 2nd place behind the Russians. But that was a really encouraging shooting performance from them. Be interesting to see what they do today. We saw so many penalty loops in the women's relay yesterday.
We did, and it's so rare for each of the 4 athletes in that those amount of shots fired, well, 40 targets to be hit, and only using 2 spares is an excellent stat. We've seen 1 spare used, and I think on a couple of occasions the Russian women's team once, not needing any spares at all.
The press and team support up on the big climb that leads around the high point and then back down into the range for the first shoot. You've got to love the South Tyrol on days like this, Mike. There is not a cloud in the sky, hardly a breath of wind. I think the wind may develop as the day goes on. Once again, I think the women who are racing second today, I think they may have the worst of it.
Yes, we'd expect that. The wind always does pick up later, especially in the afternoon. But yes, it's a fantastic, with the mountains left and right, to just gently ski here on a Sunday afternoon. It's beautiful, of course. They're not skiing easy at the moment. It's full pace, led by Lygrid.
Well, Steffenson's doing okay for Sweden. Brandt Stegmaier Hallström will be taking over from them. I would be hugely surprised if Sweden managed to defend their Olympic title, the one they won in Pyeongchang. Ooh, nice icy corner. We saw quite a few women coming off on this part of the course yesterday. It sounds much more treacherous than it was yesterday.
Well, that could be interesting as the race progresses, but everybody seemed to manage it well there, and the track has been extended further out to give a little more width as you exit that tight bend.
Yeah, I think as the race goes on, it's going to get a little bit more sunshine, and that will certainly soften the surface, making it a little bit easier to negotiate. Well, a margin of something like 80 meters between the front and the back of the pack after that long downhill section. And those at the front now have the luxury of being able to ease the pace. 3 is France, Fabien Claude racing for them, Guigenard, Detieux, Perrault, all racing. 2 of them should find themselves with a nod from the selectors this afternoon in terms of a place in the Olympic relay team.
Only 10 seconds separating all of the 24 nations as they come in to shoot, and of course down in lane 24, 23, 22 they have touched their mats earlier.
Canada the first to stroke. Lygrid of Norway, his 0 looked okay, Mike. A couple of shots went low, but 3 out of 3 for him so far. Russia, fast and clear, 5 out of 5. No mistake from the leading 4 teams. Belarus has suffered. Ukraine with 1 miss, and Sweden with Steffensen goes 5 with 5. Good shooting from him. Italy 1 spare, but it's down, and 10 seconds between first and last coming in. We are going to have, just looking to see if anyone's on the penalty loop. I don't think so, but I think it's going to be closer to 30 seconds between them on the way out. Kazakhstan have a penalty, so you can add another 25 to that.
Babikov, that was rapid fire. It wasn't the fastest, but 22.7 seconds on an easy wind day like today. You can take that risk, and it certainly paid off for Babikov. There he is. Only 9 of the first leg athletes hitting 5 from 5. The rest having to use their spares, 1, 2 and 3 spares, and actually two teams on the penalty loop.
Well, that was a good shot. You could see just how much paint comes off with each round, Mike. There's no doubt that the target is not as clear at the end of a relay as it is at the start.
Yes, and the edges in terms of stand can be blurred if there's many shots just chipping that paint off around the rim of the hit part of the stand target.
So 5. We have the Norwegians, the French, the Russians, the Germans, and at the back of this group, doing much better than expected, we have the Swiss, Stalder, just hanging on in there with the leaders. Very different story to yesterday, Mike, where the favourites were all down around 15-16 after the first couple of shoots.
Yes, that really spiced things up, didn't it? And it certainly made a very exciting relay on legs 3 and 4. There will be mistakes made today, and those chasing are always under more pressure to try and give more on the track, and it brings them into the range exhausted. The breathing is way out of control, especially at 1,600 meters. Formellini's the first of those to have used a spare round. I think he's skiing well. That's 6th position. Now, can you remember the last time, Patrick, that Italy won a relay here? It was a long time ago.
Well, it sure is. My guess is we have to go back to the early 90s before, to find the time that they were that strong. They certainly haven't won a relay since 2012, which was Oberhof in very windy conditions.
That was a great
I don't think they've had a podium for what, 10 years?
It's a long time. Yes, it was back in 1992. They took a victory here. They haven't had a victory since. They've had a 2nd, 3rd place a few times. And in fact, 2 of the team, 3 of the team are still, well, 2 of them are on the telescopes for various teams at the moment. And many who are in that race day, there's 9 of them in the top 8 on that day, still working closely with the teams.
So still a leading group of 5, and Ligrid, who set the pace on the first round. I get a sneaky feeling, Mike, that Ligrid is slowly coming back to the form we saw from him last year. He just looks more confident, certainly shooting a little bit better.
Yes, and on the range when he's zeroing, there's more confidence. You felt a little fear, a little doubt when we were watching him earlier in the season, almost questioning himself. Didn't see what happened to Babikov. That was the worst possible attempt to try and get the, come on, let's move. He'll get him on the hill.
Good work, good work. But lost him another, what, 15 meters or so. And that's the last thing you want to happen just before you come in to shoot. So keep your eye on Babikov's targets. 5.5 seconds behind at the moment. Formellini of Italy in 6th at 15.9.
I hope, Patrick, we get a slow-mo on the corner, the sharp right-hander, because for me, Fabien Claude, there he is, bib 3. He took it beautifully well. Fearless, taking it wide and carrying more speed out than Ligrid to pass him. on the descent before the next climb.
Shoot 2. Norway, Switzerland, France, Germany and Russia. Your leading 5 teams. The Swiss, who are ranked 9, Stalder, Jaeger, Hartweg and then Burkholder. No Benny Vega racing for Switzerland. So I think I'd be surprised if they were with the leading group come the end of the race. But it's good to see them there at the moment, and they're the first to strike and the first to miss. Germany with an opportunity. Oh, so top 6 teams all missing a target at least, and Lygrid with 2 misses finally gets it down. He should be able to close that gap on the sprint round to the first exchange. Germany with Roman Rees, a little bit messy with his drills, something he does time and time again, thousands of times a year.
And Babikov, I think he was, what is he? He's going to come out in about 8th position. He missed 2 out of his first 5. That's unusual for him on an easy shooting day.
Bormolini needing 3 spares. Japan, 1 spare required. Same for Lithuania. Kazakhstan, who did a penalty loop on the first run, get 5 out of 5 this time. That's Alexander Mukin. That's a good comeback by him. He was in 24th position. Out go the Americans.
Einzigen, die bisher ohne Nachlader durchgekommen sind. Keine Nachlader für die 2.
Well, that was excellent shooting from Stalder. Estonia and Poland are the only 2 teams who have yet to miss a target. All the leaders with at least 1 miss on that standing shoot. The Bulgarians with Todev the fastest.
Well, Fabian Cloud may well have bought himself a secure position in that Olympic relay team, which really will have a chance of, a strong chance, possibly of winning the gold medal.
Yeah, excellent move from him. Just 1 spare required, but his drills were quick. Roman Rees at 14, having come into the range with the leading group of 5. Belarus making good ground thanks to the shooting from Todev.
I think the best improved Stalder for me, he took 25.5 seconds to shoot his 5 shots down, but that was using 1 spare, so breaking position, hand feeding a spare round, rapid fire. And of course he was, what, 26th position in the individual.
Yeah, I was getting my Belarusian and Bulgarian flags mixed up. Well, he's looking good, isn't he, Mike?
He's looking great, sharp, and I hope we see him. I hope we get a close-up of him taking the rapid corner coming up fairly soon. Beautiful. He's clearly a lot of alpine skiing in his legs when he was a child.
Antonin Guiganard poised, ready for the second leg for the French. Lygrid trying to close the gap. He came out 6.3 behind. I don't think he's closed much of that. Stalder's had the race of his life. Really great performance from him. Roman Rees, plenty of encouragement out there on the tracks. Belarus just behind them. Russia back in 6th at the moment. Ukraine 7th, and I think that's Sweden back in 8th.
It's so close, within 35 seconds, 11 teams. David Komatz from Austria doesn't ski normally this fast, but he's really hanging in there in 11th place.
Great work from Fabian Cloud down the fast section. Now, this is where the right-hander is. Have a look at his technique as he rounds it into the shade. Always makes it a little difficult. It's quite cold, quite icy.
And we didn't follow him. That's a pity.
Hardly aggressive from Stalder, but he's nice and relaxed. Roman Rees, can't say the same about him. Little bit unsteady, but Fabian Cloud, he is flying at the moment from 6. I think he's going to take the margin up to closer to 10. Bastu at 21, so quite spread out when we consider how tightly packed it was after that second shoot. What do we have? 20 seconds separating the top 12 on that occasion. The work from Fabian Cloud at the front has made a big difference. He's handing over to Antonin Gigener, who had his best race for 4 years in the individual, finishing 4th in the mass start yesterday, sorry. It was a brilliant performance from Gigener, and hopefully his confidence is high. Away he goes. Norway will be chasing. Terje Bø, who is very quick this season. Yeah, it's been a brilliant season from Terje Bø. And we'll see whether he can close that gap on the lead, whether he wants to close it at this stage on France. He may just bide his time. Switzerland get away in 3, Germany 4, Belarus at 21.4 in 5th position. And the Russians just losing a little bit of ground on that last leg. Babikov handing over to Serap Vostov. Team 10, that's Slovenia. Dobjan to Jakub Fak, who's the most experienced in their team. Here come Italy. Bormolini handing over to Dominic Vindish. Lukas Hofer goes on leg number 4 for the Italians. And Bulgaria holding on to a top 15 just along with the USA, 59.7 behind. That's quite a big margin to lose on the first leg. Paul Schomer is on course now for USA, and he's had some good races of late.
Well, as Terje Bø tries to close down, it was only, what, 8.2 seconds. I think he will close Gigener down. And if Terje Bø wins today, or if the Norwegian team win today, that'll put him on 24 occasions where he's had a victory in the relay in his career, and puts him in the big names of all time. Hannevold, he won 24, and so did Sven Fischer, relays for the country.
For Ukraine in 7th place. Ukraine tracking the Russians. Always a little bit of needle between those two teams, but particularly so at the moment. Yeah, he's being told to work hard up to the top of the hill. Mike, we were discussing that, you know, once you've made a mistake in a relay or in any race and you're chasing the game, you have to take a risk. You have to ski harder than you want to. You have to shoot a little bit faster. But no course punishes you quite like the course here in Antholz when you do that.
It's so punishing. It's hard to explain how this lack of oxygen. Yes, it's not huge high altitude like Mount Everest, but when you're on your absolute maximum, and cross-country skiing requires the most uptake of oxygen that you can possibly get, all the muscle groups use, it really hurts you. And I think Terje Bø, we mentioned earlier, missing 2 targets first time in yesterday in the mass start. He pushed so hard around the rest of the track, and that affected his shooting yesterday, but he certainly is closing those 8 seconds down now.
Yeah, he's done well. So is Philipp Horn for Germany, wearing 4, taking the Belarus team with them. Dmitry Lazuski right in the slipstream of Philip Horn. The Swiss are still hanging on in there. They've done well so far, Switzerland. Ranked 9, as I said. Stalder has handed over to Martin Jaeger. Nicholas Hartweg is on the next leg, and the two leading teams are together. So this is a big question, Mike. Will Norway be able to hang on in there with the French when it comes to the shooting? Because Tarjei Bø has put in a blistering first 2K.
Well, I think it looks like Tarjei Bø, his strategy was close this 8 seconds down as quickly as you can, and then he'll try and buy himself, at 22 minutes into the race, buy himself recovery now into the range. He really needs to get some recovery in his breathing before he comes in for prone shooting.
Yeah, the battle at the front has extended that lead. I suspect that both those two leading athletes are pretty uncomfortable at the moment. They've got an 11-12 second margin back to Germany, Switzerland and Belarus. Russia closing the gap on those two teams, so they've rejoined the chasing pack. And Giegner still leading the way. Tarjei Bø, I suspect, is now on the wind down, just trying to prepare himself for the first shoot in the prone position.
It appeared a little, Giegner seemed to put a little turn of pace on there, which is a good strategy. You've worked so hard to catch someone, then they put a turn of pace on. It's so frustrating. You thought you'd closed the gap. Giegner playing a good little game out there.
Well, it's a great game unless you're about to shoot.
We'll have to wait and see. Will it trip him up?
Well, we'll see in the next 30 seconds or so.
And there's the chasers. They're definitely coming in harder. They're trying to close. They're aware of closing this time deficit, so taking the risk, coming in at a higher intensity.
18 seconds off the leaders now, so the work that Tarjei Bø did on the big climb, certainly significant. France on lane 1, Norway 2. Norway, of course, zeroing on lane 1. Don't think there'll be a significant difference. Anything you can do, I can do too. But Tarjei has enough of that game, gets number 4 down. So 2 spares required from France. Belarus, I suspect, I was going to say, will take their time. They have, but they haven't hit the targets. Germany have been consistent with the rifle in the relay so far this year. Remember, just missing 2 last week in Ruhpolding. They go 5 with 5 again. Russia go 5 with 5. And the gap at the front has shut, Mike. And I think that pace, the battle between the French and the Norwegians has cost both teams.
It certainly has. It appears that way, and I love Tarjei Bø had to put all his cards out, try and close down. He did achieve that, put Giegner under pressure, but it always comes at a cost.
Be interesting to see what the Norwegian does on this next lap as we see Pigdrushny exit for Ukraine. 6th position, the Canadians with Christian Gau. That's great work from them. To get themselves up into the top 6. We saw the Canadian women going well at the halfway stage yesterday and then faded latterly. Lazuski for Belarus in 7, Yakov Fak in 8. At the exchange, Fak was just having a look. Where were they? They were in the 8th position at that time as well.
Well, I don't know if you saw it. Martin Jaeger from Switzerland, he stayed with the pace, a hard pace for him, but he's on the penalty loop. All 3 spare rounds used, 1 target remaining.
Well, after Fabian Cloud's performance, Giegner will be very, very keen to put in a good standing shoot. Those 2 misses in the prone won't have done him any favours at all. So they're in the top 10. 43 seconds now separating them. We had 39 at the start of this leg, so nothing too significant. Seconds was the margin, or 9.5 actually after the shoot, and it's grown. It has grown. So Tarjei Bø has kept the pace on. Gigener is back to something that he'll be a little bit more comfortable with. Philipp Horn of Germany going exceptionally well. That's a good effort from the Germans. They were 20.8 behind, have cut that to 14.9. Serek Vostok for Russia. They're only 15 behind. Loganov and Latipov is a really strong finish to a relay squad.
Pigrushny going well there, 50. He didn't race in the individual or the mass start here, so very much recovered. He did race in rope holding, but he's certainly on a good performance at the moment.
So Tarja Boe, Mike, has effectively earned himself 2 penalty or 2 spare rounds. So if he can get 5 with 7, he should come out either in the lead or certainly with the leaders.
I'm so impressed with Tarja Boe. When you've been on the international, on this circuit, it's busy, it's stressful, a lot of travelling. He's been in there for, what, 12 years, 13 years, and he's having one of the best seasons of his life. Ski speed is secure every day for Tarja Boe, top 5 times each day he races.
Serek Vostok setting the pace for Russia with the chase group. Much better day for Germany than they had in the women's race yesterday.
Christian Gau there, looking so easy, bib number 12 for Canada. That's a great news day for Canada, only 33 seconds behind. And Vindish for Italy, he had a great time on the range, rapid fire, he managed to get them fast, and he's moving up in the terms of the positions.
I should think all those trailing teams are taking a little bit of heart from yesterday's race, Mike, the women's relay. So many of the teams that finished on the podium were at one stage outside the top 10. Norway way off the pace after a bad start. But Ida Lien and Tandrevold, 2 sensational legs to put them into top spot for the first time this year.
It was an exciting race yesterday, and the wind playing a huge part to upsetting those who were leading at the time. Penalty loops from most of the teams. Certainly a lot easier today, and well, still only 2 teams having been on the penalty loop. Sorry, 4 teams now. Poland on the penalty loop. We saw Switzerland starting so well, but then the penalty loop.
Now, I'm pretty sure I heard the Norwegian coach saying that Boe was 8 seconds clear. I wonder whether he's saying he's gained an extra 8, which is what he has done. He's gained 8 on Gigener over what he had coming out of the range area.
That's fantastic skiing, isn't it? At this level, they're all in good form with the Olympics coming up, and Tarja Boe just smashing another 8 seconds out of most of the rest chasing.
Christian Gau, Jules Benoit, and then Scott Gau on the anchor leg for Canada. 81% hit rate in the stand so far this season, but he missed 3 out of 10 yesterday. He missed 2 in his last stand in the individual. So, what are we going to get today? Perfection or problems? Well, I think that's the best group I've ever seen in a stand position. They're all slightly low right, but unbelievable shooting. Beautiful rhythm from Tarja Boe. He's matched by Germany and he is matched by France. So this race is far from over. And I think Tarja Boe will be a little bit disappointed that he hasn't got more of a lead after that sensational stand shoot. Canada come out with 5. Belarus get 5. Best shoot of the day so far as we approach the halfway stage of this men's 4x7.5. Norway lead, Germany 2, France 3, Russia holding on to 4th position ahead of Ukraine, and Canada with Christian Gau still in the top 6.
Well, Christian Gau, he threw all caution to the wind there. Well, there is no wind, and that's what allowed him to hit 5 targets in 19.5 seconds.
Another good shoot from the Bulgarian team. Todev was brilliant in the last leg. Iliev shooting well this time round.
Yakov Fak on the penalty loop. Nobody would have expected that. He wouldn't have expected it. He went for the fast shooting option, and then very quickly he saw the targets missing, and he didn't steady enough for the very final spear round.
Yeah, we saw a 16.5 shoot yesterday from Vitozzi in the standing position. Christian Gau has gone 19.5, which is still exceptionally quick. He's been the fastest on that standing shoot. Norway, just looking for their time. Terje Bo 29, so 10 seconds given away on the range to the Canadians.
Yes, I think Terje Bo, I think it was sensible. He steadied himself well, got his breathing under control, and it paid off. He didn't need any spare rounds.
So all his shots, Mike, going low right. What do you think his movement of the sights over the target is?
Yes, I think he just tried it. So it's very difficult to hold that right dead steady. He seemed to be so anchored, just floating, moving continually, marginally around the dark shape of the target. His sights just hovering around. He was so strong and stable, he could afford to do that. But it does take a little extra time.
Gau at 31.5. The margin after the shoot was just 10.3. Burr ahead of Horn. That's gone up to 17. So Terje Burr taking roughly 8 seconds out of everyone on each lap of this 2.5 course, and allowing himself the luxury of just taking a bit more time to prepare for the first shot. No more shooting for him. He hands over to his brother Johannes Tingesbø, and if Johannes has his best form out there on the tracks, then the race could be all over before Vetle Sjostad Christiansen takes to the course for the final leg.
Well,
this is amazing.
It's amazing. I was just thinking there, he needs some days rest, some very easy days. Probably still remaining at altitude, but a recovery section now. He's on such brilliant form.
Yeah, I think the fact that Norway missed Ruhpolding, Mike, or their Olympic team missed Ruhpolding, got some early altitude training, and I think that really has shown, particularly today.
Yes, gets you used to this lack of oxygen at 1,600 metres. Really has paid off.
Well, what a fantastic battle for the minor positions. Ukraine trying to hang on to that chasing group. The Canadians have dropped back a little bit. If they glance to the right, they'll see the race leader, Terje Burr, who had, what was the margin coming into the shoot? He had 15 seconds. Coming out, he had 10. And he certainly built it to 18 seconds. We will get another split just before they come into the stadium area. And I think it may well be closer to 20.
It's a tight race. Still 4 teams within, what, 12 seconds. 4 nations fighting for the second place at the moment. Obviously, they'll still be chasing the first place.
Interesting to see him staying out of the tracks. Many go for the tracks because your legs can relax a little bit more, but Terje, I think, maybe sensing that it's a little bit quicker out of the track.
With the rifle high up on your back, it puts your centre of gravity up a lot higher. I'm so impressed they're attacking, so aggressively attacking the right-hander, tucking down low to lower that centre of gravity.
Well, it's not been a bad performance by Gigenar. Germany are the best team on the range so far today. They've only missed 1 target, so a repeat of what we saw from them last year. Gigenar with a superhuman effort to break a little bit of ground between himself and Seret Vostov of Russia. And that's important. Here's our first clash, and it's Belarus, Dmitry Lazuski going down. And I'm trying to remember, Mike, who it was who went down yesterday. Was it the Swedes?
It was the Czech Republic, Shabatova.
Shabatova, well remembered.
But that's a real pity because Lazuski was in 7th place. He'll only 38 seconds behind. He's going to find himself, what, 1 minute 15, 1:20 behind when he hands over.
Yeah, I think the Swedes did fall on that corner as well, but it certainly was Shabatova that went over the edge and down. So, Norway lead, and Gigenaar, wow, he has had a sensational last kilometre. He's cut the margin back to 7 seconds. It was at 18. So, brilliant final burst from him, and that might be something that catches the eye of the French selectors. How important could that little bit of effort be in a month's time, or less than a month's time? The men's relay for the Olympic Games will be on the 15th of February. Here come Canada. If they stay top 6 today, that goes down as their best of the season. They've had an 18th, a 12th and a 9th. Every time out, the Canadians are getting better. Italy in 7th.
No sight yet of Belarus. They were in 7th when Lazuski had the fall.
Yeah, I'd be amazed if it didn't cost him at least 7 seconds. Lazuski was 1:27 behind when we last saw him, having been just 36 seconds behind. So, yeah, it was a big tumble.
Oh, shocking. Good that he's getting some assistance. You're in deep snow there. It's not easy to stand up in that deep snow. And there goes 45 seconds.
Yeah, a reminder of Vancouver.
Remind me.
Vancouver. Women's races, cross country.
Ah, yeah.
And we're both struggling for the name. It will come. It will come. Just takes a little longer nowadays.
Well, this German team, Patrick, we maybe not have given it much credit at the start. It's really working out well for the German team. 19 seconds behind now, and well and truly in the race for the medals. But there's still 2 legs, well, effectively to make their way into the shooting range.
Johannes Tingis. He's tough to beat when he's out front, but a 7-second cushion is not quite what he was expecting. I certainly thought he was going to have 20 seconds, but Gigenaar, a really fabulous finish from him. Simon Dethieu is on course for France now. The Russians with Alexander Loginov. Now Loginov, he might fancy his chances of taking on Johannes Tingesbert. And then just behind them, Germany with David Zobel.
It's a fearsome pace, Patrick, because Johannes Tingesbø, yes, he's tired from the individual race. We saw him fade for the first time in years on the last lap. Normally that's his trump card, the last lap. But he faded yesterday, but he certainly today will be strong on this first lap. And it really is making those chasing work way over their comfort zone. Oh, arms wide. That corner is tricky.
Yeah, it's tricky. I think you've got to start it wide, almost getting to the stage where it's worth putting on a little bit of a snowplow. It was Petra Majdic who ended up in the ditch in Vancouver. I'm sure many of our viewers were screaming at the screens having remembered that. And Majdic, of course, who then I think the next day went on to win the bronze in the sprint event, but then had to pull out after that.
Yeah, it was quite amazing. Oh, she fell, remember, 5-6 meters off the side of the track, and actually raced that day. She made it through the qualifying, and then amazingly, with a sore set of ribs, she took the bronze medal. It was incredible. It's beginning to hurt them now, Patrick, the pace. They're down to 21 seconds. So Johannes Tingesbø that's 8 seconds he's taken out of them now, the chasers, so that's really hurting them.
Yeah, and the significance there is, Mike, that excuse me, Johannes can afford to use all his spares, and provided 5 targets go down, he will still have a lead. But what he wants to avoid is the pressure. He might be better to use those seconds just to take an extra 5 or 6 in preparation for the first shot. Make absolutely sure there's no wind to worry him. The only thing against him is the pressure of leading a relay. But he's done that more than anyone else on the planet, so he should be able to cope. Here we go. Lucky, low right.
Very
low right.
Very low.
Slightly higher, but still right. Very low, split round again. He just creeps inside. That camera angle, to be honest, makes it look a little bit tighter, but 2 of those were split rounds, and he gets away with it by the skin of his teeth.
So impressive. If they weren't so incredibly accurate, they could so easily have been missed targets.
Well, the rest are doing him a favour. Germany, have you noticed, Mike, how the Germans are taking those extra 5-6 seconds before every shoot and making absolutely sure. I'm sure that is a team briefing over the last 3 weeks.
Well,
look at that, 5 and 5.
Kirchner, absolutely. He's been involved in so many wins here. Mark Kirchner on the telescope. Yep, great advice. Get the breathing under control as much as you can, and it seems to be working.
Yeah, Loganov was pushing the pace. Germany back up into second again, but the margin now at 29 seconds. Every second that Johannes Tingis can hand over to Christiansen is going to be appreciated. Canada, they coming back up to the top 5. They may well do. Good shooting from them, and that certainly keeps them in the running for a possible podium. It's possible. They do have Scott Gow on the last leg, and he's been in very good form this season. Austria go with 5 with 5. The Italians struggling a little bit. Giacomel on the range for them. Surely not a penalty loop. Switzerland have done a penalty loop.
Look at the time wasted there to make sure that last one goes down.
Yeah. Slovakia with a penalty loop. The Olympic champions way down the order, but that was expected with a much weakened team today. Just Stephenson, Brand, Stegmaier, Hellstrom all getting experience. It's a tough place to be given your first World Cup race.
It's a big experience, and to step into this big World Cup scene, the cameras are there, their expectations from the teams are so much loaded on your shoulders.
Great shooting from Germany. Still only 1 spare round required. Are they going to beat last week's performance where they required just 2? Their only problem is the Norwegians have only needed 3. The French have only needed 4. Austria have only needed 2.
Well, Johannes Tingesbo is smashing the pace now, Patrick. They left Zubel left at 29 behind. He's now 35, and that's the easy part of the track. It's going to extend further, and Loganov, those 3 spare rounds, such a huge amount of time wasted or used to hand feed those 3 spare rounds. 52 seconds behind.
It does look as though the battle is for second, third and fourth. Antholz, Mike, good training in terms of altitude for the Olympic Games, which is pretty much at exactly the same height, but it's not really good training in terms of the conditions, because it's going to be very, very windy out there in Beijing.
Oh, from all the reports I've read and heard from people, it's going to be windy and extremely dry. It's all machine-made snow, man-made snow, and when that's dry, that makes difficult, even for freestyle, for skating technique, that makes quite difficult ski-based more preparation.
Yeah, and the winds there tend to carry quite a lot of sand in them from the local deserts where it's obviously very dry indeed. So how are they going to cope with that?
It's a new, and some of the teams are out there already, the wax technicians trying to understand, and they're checking the base of the skis, how dirty they become with that. Yes, from the Kobe Desert, the sand coming over. It's weird. There's been no Olympics quite like it, and I can't wait till we get some more information from those tracks. But no natural snow at the moment surrounding the tracks, very dry.
Loganov, it's not been a good day for him so far, and that shortened stride, an indication that he is slightly fatigued. Again, Johannes Tingis survives.
Yeah, he's brave because he keeps lower than most. A lot of them are standing up to sort of create a bit of a block, a slow down by standing tall. Johannes is attacking all the time. He really has come back from his break back home a different biathlete. He's got his old mindset back and his old attacking back. And on the range today in zeroing, he's just entirely focused on himself, barely taking much attention in where the fall of the shots have gone. He's got his confidence back.
I'm starting to feel he can't miss on the next shoot.
Oops, he's pushing so hard.
France and Germany in second and third. Germany with David Zobel, who's certainly been getting better and better. Got a PB in Ruhpolding in the pursuit, finishing 10th. That was encouraging. And France, of course, with Simon Detieux, who's in the top 10 of the World Cup standings. That says all you need to know about how he's getting on this year. But look at that margin. From 9 to 20 to 43 seconds now. Johannes Tingis has destroyed them on this loop. And if he clears 5 with 5, well, the margin could be well over a minute before the final leg. Will it be fast and carefree?
He's working hard.
Well, what would you give to be able to do that? Even Ziggy Mazet enjoyed that. 5 out of 5, last one in the prone target. That was pretty decisive, Mike. No one else has even entered the range area. So a devastating performance by Johannes Tingis Bø. And I think Norway sending a message to the rest of the world. Do not think we're not going to try and add the Olympic crown to our world crown.
Fionn Maillet, Jacqueline watching right now from the comfort of their hotel room will be thinking, my word, Johannes Tingis Bø is back.
There's the second miss from the Germans for the day. Detieux is away. And again for Zobel. Let's hope it doesn't all fall apart now. Loganov starting to come good. But as I said, he throws his 4th shot wide. Canada, they have, I was going to say they have to shoot perfectly if they really have any intention of finishing, not just on the podium, but in the top 5, I feel.
Loganov went so attacking, so fast into his first shot. Then he had no air. He had to take a full 8 seconds to breathe. And that cost him target 4. He was running out of air again. But he's made all 5 down. Sweden, I thought, were going so well to this... sorry, that's Ukraine, but Sweden still going well in this race. Last sighting...
15th.
Oh, I missed their last shoot in terms of how that went.
Yeah, no, it wasn't good. They've now missed 8. They haven't done a penalty loop, but things not going well. But as we mentioned, it's a very inexperienced team. Out come Austria. They're going into 6th place with Felix Leitner. Just behind them are Ukraine. Dudchenko, 8 misses for the Ukrainians, 8 for Russia. Norway on 3. Germany now, having missed 2 on that last shoot, have required 3 spares. But this standing shoot from Johannes Tingis Bø, fantastic. No one else around to distract him. And the result was as good as he could have wanted.
What a huge lead, Patrick. Johannes Tingis Bø, that's 51 seconds exiting the range, probably extending it to, well, they have. He's opened it up by another 5 seconds. What a pace.
57.9. It is going to be close to that minute mark, maybe a minute 5. And Vetle Sjorstad Christiansen will have not watched enough biathlon to know that when the lead is over a minute, suddenly there is a strange psychology that makes it very difficult for the leader.
Oh, this is incredible. I thought for a split second he might back off ever so slightly. The opposite. He's feeling his form coming back. And interestingly, he didn't go to altitude, so this is all new, racing up here. And often when you come to altitude, you're okay for the first couple of days, and then it really begins to hit you more. So he's carried 3 days of great racing.
France into Germany. They could certainly do with a podium finish here. We get a list of teams who they feel might win. Germany weren't even on the list, not even given a chance. But, you know, Ries, Horn, Zobel, Fratscher. Well, the last leg could be their undoing. We'll find out. They've done pretty well so far on the back of some excellent shooting. France with Eric Perrault, the youngster who's been given so much responsibility over the last few weeks. I get the feeling, Mike, that they feel Perrault is going to be the next best thing.
I think so, and they're giving him the opportunities to feel the pressure, to cope with the pressure. Zobel, such good form, and they have included him in their Olympic team, basically on the results from Ruhpolding, where he came 24th in the sprint, 10th in the pursuit, only missing one target. So he's going. He won't be named yet for sure in any of the races, probably reserve.
300 metres to go or less for Johannes Tingis Bø, and he has really pushed the pace on this last loop. When he came out of the range, the margin was 51. Normally, you'd expect him to take that up to a minute. Now, if he'd produced a loop like this at the end of the mass start yesterday, Mike, he would have won it.
He certainly would have caught Benny Dahl by those 7 seconds. Benny Dahl, though, did have an exceptional... the glide was brilliant.
So what are we going to be looking at? It's going to be close to the minute. Detieu has still to go past the checkpoint out on the course with 300 metres to go. So the lead is over 300 metres, almost exactly 300 metres. 1 minute and 2 seconds, the margin. How many penalty loops can Norway afford now? Certainly one, possibly two. Russia have got work to do if they want to finish in the top 3 today. We've got Canada in 5th, just behind the Russians. They're about 12 seconds behind the Russians. So there's always a chance that 2 of the teams in front of Canada will make mistakes on the final leg. I think Germany could be under threat. I think Scott Gow will fancy his chances of beating Lucas Fratscher, but we'll see if it turns out like that. France, as I mentioned, with Eric Perrault on the last leg. There he is, youngest member of the French team. Yeah, and a very, very powerful skier indeed.
Zobel is absolutely staggering over this last 100 metres. He's pushed so hard, but lost a lot of time over this last 2.5 kilometres.
Yeah, not the best of races from Loginov. Eduard Latyapov has to pick up the pieces. Latyapov, who had a poor mass start, down in 25th. He missed 4 on the first stand. He went 0.422, so a poor day by his standards. And away go Canada. This could be their best result of the season, with just 7.5 kilometres to go and a margin of at least 30 seconds between Canada and the next team. It's looking very, very good for the North Americans.
It is, and with great respect for Eric Perrault, he's only 20. He didn't do a great job last weekend in Ruhpolding, and so Canada will feel confident. It could be a podium.
But it's Mr. Reliable on the last leg for Norway. with all that work from Johannes Tingers Burmite, Christensen can afford to take it slowly, and it looks as though he's doing just that.
It does look that way. I wonder if his brief was, okay, relax, just take this first 2.5, easy, comfortable, and then give it, then open up to Max after the first shoot. He certainly doesn't look stressed or worried at the moment.
Well, he's not taking it that slow because he's taken another 2 seconds out of Perrault, so maybe it's just deceptive. Actually, Christensen has transformed his ski speed this year, hasn't he, Mike? And it's made him a very, very effective biathlete, which is why he's top 6. And if you look at the 4 Norwegians in the race today, they are 7th, 3rd, 5th and 6th in the World Cup rankings. You're not going to beat that on paper unless, of course, you put the full French team in.
Yes, quite amazing. And you're mentioning Christensen there. You know, he was a very, very good junior alongside Johannes Tingers Bø. And then Johannes Tingers Bø has gone on to win so much since then. And it's only this season that Christensen, at age 29, that he's managed to lift his skiing by what, some 45 seconds over the 10-kilometre race.
29, that's nothing. What about Dave Riding? What a sensational result for Dave Riding yesterday in Kitzbühel in the slalom. Britain's first ever Alpine gold medal, they call it, top spot. First place, top of the podium for Dave Riding yesterday. It was a brilliant, brilliant performance by him. And what I enjoyed seeing, Mike, is that all the other nations, all the other top skiers who he beat were just as happy for Dave as if it had been their victory. They all celebrated, not Britain's first, but Dave Riding's first World Cup win. It's been long overdue.
It has, and what a story that is from the dry mats for where he learned how to ski. It's a different kind of skiing, and you know, that's a life-changing moment yesterday for Dave. So proud that he's managed to get to the top, and hopefully that's huge confidence leading into the Olympics.
Yeah, a real confidence booster, and certainly all the press attention will be on him, rather like all the press attention was on Andy Musgrave back in 2014 when he won the Norwegian Championships just a week before the Olympic Games. And didn't really work out too well for Andy on that occasion. But I'm sure Dave Riding can cope with any attention he gets.
Yes, he seems to be that kind of personality. And go back to Andrew Young, he's vastly experienced now. Sorry, Andrew Young and Andrew Musgrave, both vastly experienced, and they can be confident with how they've been racing this season so far.
Yeah, incredible to think they're on the verge of racing in their 4th Olympic Games. So Christensen, all he's been asked to do is finish the job. Lygrid and the Bø brothers have been exceptional so far. Quick check at the wind flags, and for the first time today, we do have a bit of wind.
That was low. Very low.
Well, interesting, Mike, hearing the strain in his breathing just before he holds his breath. All 5 have gone down, but all the Norwegians, I can't quite remember what Lygrid did, but certainly the 2 Bø brothers and Christensen shooting low in the prone.
I'm quite surprised. Almost I would have expected when we certainly saw two of the Norwegian athletes very low. I think I would have suggested to my anchor leg to maybe bring your sights up a couple of notches, couple of clicks.
Is
but
that
hey,
anything to do with the increased intensity of the light?
I don't think so. It was much the same when we were when they were in zeroing. The sun has swung around a little to the left, but I don't think that should have played such a margin on the fall of the shot.
Not the best of starts for Perrault. Now the panic sets in if one more misses in this first lot of 5. 3 rounds, 2 targets. Russia missing one, and again, so 2 spares for them. Germany with a chance of moving up into second. Canada with a chance of moving into the top 3, but it's going to have to be quick from Scott Gow. Finally, they go down for the French, but the margins between second and fourth could be cut dramatically. Germany are the team that take advantage. Great shooting from Lucas Fratscher. Oh, Canada with Scott Gow. Don't say it's all going to go wrong on this first shoot. Russia on the penalty loop, Mike.
Incredible. That is unbelievable. He has raced Rusty Latypov. He's missed a lot of races since Christmas, and that's what he's missing. Scott Gow, I was going to say he'll knock these down so fast. He did try, and that's what tripped him up.
Yeah, oh, that is desperately, desperately sad. And it'd be nice to have a shot of the rest of the Canadian team, Runnels and Gow and Bernot, who did just about the perfect job today.
What a real opportunity for Canada there, and well, maybe at that moment he didn't know. He was fully aware there was a strong chance. Scott Gow, he is experienced, but he did take a little risk on the range. Well, who would have thought Norway, yes, many expected them to win today, but who would have thought they're 133 ahead after the 7th time in for shooting? Lukas Hofer bringing Italy, well, it's difficult to bring them back into the race for real, but he certainly has pulled back some time off the lead.
Yeah, and suddenly with Russia and Canada making mistakes, Mike, Lukas Hofer certainly has a chance of going up into the top 5. It's going to have to be the perfect finish to his race. Christensen doesn't look to be flustered at all. 133 was the margin. It's grown to 140. It's looking better and better for Norway. Germany will be reminded of Hogfilson back in, I think it was 2005, when they had a lead of almost 2 minutes, and Sven Fischer managed to lose that with Austria coming through to win. So strange things can happen, but I just can't see it happening this time round.
It is a strange shape of the race. We've still got Austria in 6th place. Lemmerer taking the anchor leg. His ski speed traditionally isn't great, but he's shooting very well. They've only missed 5 targets in total, the Austrian team, which is what, 2nd best shooting score. Norway missing 3 targets, and Germany missing 3 targets. That was a good race line there. He took it very wide in. Maybe you kill a bit of the speed doing so, but it's a safer line.
Yeah, generally, if you can cut the corner tight, there's never so much ice right on the inside. But if you miss the line just fractionally, you're then into the worst section. So it's a risky strategy, but probably still the best one. So at least we've got a race on for 2nd and 3rd. France versus Germany. The youngster in the French team against Fratscher. Fratscher ranked 76, Perrault ranked 60, so it's fairly even. And Russia, who have Eduard Latypov behind them, and a man who should be up in 2nd place at the moment. Latypov desperately needs to make up for his mistakes, because if he has another bad shoot, Mike, I can't see him being in the Olympic relay team.
No, the Russian team will be viewing today as the same altitude, a similar track shape and profile, and you know, a similar entry to the range from what I hear. But he's raced Rusty. You lose a little bit of your timing. Yes, you can do it in training, but it's different with a World Cup bib on your chest. So Latypov suffering, I think, a little from missing some races.
A couple of the tail enders just exiting the range before the arrival. Slovakia have already been pulled out. The Poles have already been pulled out. I think Romania in danger as well. Can he do what Johannes Tingis did last time round? 5 with 5.
running out of air.
Oh,
at least he's
smile
smiling
on his face, yeah. Might have been better just to rebuild the position altogether. So he doesn't quite finish in the same style as his teammates, but 4 out of 5. He's got another 2,500 meters to go. He can absolutely cruise it because the margin will be at least 1 minute 25. Celebrations already. He'll be halfway round before the rest get away.
Oh, he's now picking it up, but look, there's a huge pressure growing here now for positions 2, 3, 4, 5. Canada might still have a chance if Scott Gow can compose himself and if Latypov or Fracture start missing targets. Or Perot.
Well, Canada a minute behind at the last shoot after that penalty loop from Scott Gow. Suddenly took their shooting record to 9 misses, 1 penalty loop. 3 teams, for me, fighting it out for that 2nd and 3rd place. Christensen with a 44-second shoot. These guys are going to have to be quicker and more accurate. Would suggest a 5 with 5 is worth a podium finish. Oh, how about that? How about that? It was as if he had nothing to lose. Perot absolutely slammed the door shut in Fracture's face. That was incredible from Perot. We'll get the timings on the shoot. He took a little bit of time to get the first one away, but once he had his rhythm, it was sensational. So, France away in 2nd, 1:30 behind the race leaders. Russia's chance of a podium looks slim now. 9 seconds between France and Germany. I think Perot might just hang on there. And then Latypov for Russia. What's he got to do to get into the top 3? It's a big ask. 13 seconds. And the Canadians this time, 5 out of 5. Where was that sort of shooting last time round in the prone position?
Oh, he tried.
What a
he
shame.
really tried. I think it was the pace. He really lifted maybe higher than the absolute comfort place to be coming into the prone. He had to take the risk. Certainly paid off this time.
Six rounds, 5 targets. Ziggy Mazet, happy enough with that. I think the Norwegians have their team members, they have the order, everything is sorted. The rest have to work out how you beat a team as strong as that. But there are plenty of athletes who aren't racing, particularly in the French team. And Christensen now trying to knock as many teams out of the race as he possibly can by lapping them.
Well, where did that come from? He was like on an absolute Sunday afternoon cruise out of the stadium, and now, well, just he would have recovered well after that, almost like interval training now. Yes, Scott Gow, 20.8 or 20.8 seconds to knock all 5 targets down. He made up for his prone shooting mess.
Yeah, Christensen 12 seconds faster than Perot up to this point on the final lap. So it wasn't too much of a Sunday stroll for Christensen. Fracture is now 6 seconds behind. Coming out of the range, he was 11 seconds behind. So Germany are closing in on the French. We could have a good sprint finish coming up there. And Latypov 11 seconds off the podium, having been 13. So he's closing as well, but might be running out of snow. That is how to take the corner. Beautiful skiing from Christensen.
Fracture really is trying, and he may well close. I still believe that Latypov could close this down. He might still be able to, but he's running out of track time.
It doesn't look much, but he's got to find something special on that last climb.
Team 21's desperate to make it into the range before they get past. That's, Kodama.
Kodama of Japan. Yeah, if he can get up into the range, then he's okay. Germany are getting agonisingly close. This could be their last chance. You feel they need to be right on the heels of the French. Perrault is starting to struggle, Mike. The fight has gone out, the juice has gone, and it's Germany who are coming well with Fratscher. He's going to go into second, or he'll be certainly on the heels of the French before the descent.
Oh,
yeah, Perrault's finished. He's finished.
And at 20-year-old, the endurance isn't quite there. Is he finished? Has he got a sprint? I wouldn't think so, but Fratscher is on his limit as well. I think this is going to bring Latypov into screen quite soon as well. He'll believe he can touch the podium.
Norway have done it. Excellent race from them. And they make it 3 wins from 4 relays this year. He waved to the virtual crowd. Christensen has done an excellent job. Not really the test that he needed. Fratscher goes through into second. Can Perrault hang in there? He's got a little bit of recovery. Latypov is there as well, Mike. I'm not sure that Germany are aware that Russia are so close to them.
This Latypov, for me, psychologically, well, he's running out of distance to close them both down. Needs to take this corner well.
France could be going from second to fourth in this last 500 metres, which is all they have to go. Fratscher of Germany.
I think Latypov's going for second.
Meters. He's up into third. Last little bit of steep uphill and then the climb up into the stadium as well, and all the time the gap between Russia and Germany is closing. Good recovery from Latypov.
Now Fratscher senses in there, and tension, fear begins to build with, what, 400 metres to go.
Well, he's just checked to see if the French are a threat, and they're not. Perrault has, I don't know quite what's happened to Perrault, but I think he came to a standstill on that last climb. Now we're going to see where the Fratscher's got it in him. He's only got 200 metres to go, 2 corners to negotiate, and Latypov, no, Fratscher's given up, Mike. He's a long look over his shoulder.
Yes, Fratscher
slightly surprised.
Yes, energy, so much energy out to catch Perrault early in the track, and he's got nothing left to fight.
Yeah, Latypov was 24 seconds down on the French at the start of this last lap. So he's taken a second out of the French every 100 metres. That is a great effort from the Russians. So Norway win, Russia in second, and Germany celebrating third place. They were second last week. Yeah, no Kern and no Benny Doll, so it's a good effort from a German, not quite a B team, but an A/B team.
And I feel for Perrault. He was part of the gold medal winning team at the Junior World Championships in March last year. He knows how it works at junior level, but not the endurance at senior level.
Yeah, Scott Gow, mixed emotions. 5th is brilliant for the Canadians, but he knows that had he not been on the penalty loop, he would have been in that fight out for second and third. So he's going to struggle to get to sleep tonight. But give Scott his credit, Mike. His standing shoot was pretty much the best we saw.
Oh, it was exceptional, and that is
20.8 seconds.
Yeah, brilliant, but it is a brilliant performance for Canada, ranked 12th this season so far, all the way up to 5th, and they were really looking closely at a podium today, but didn't quite work out.
Austria way down in 9th position. It's not been a good season for their relay team so far. Russia, who, remember, rested most of their top athletes yesterday. They've had 2 thirds, a first, and today they finished second. So good World Cup points from them. They were level on 156 at the start of today. But Norway, with the victory here, have edged ahead of Russia in the relay standings. 1 to go. That, of course, will be in Kontiolahti at the end of the season, the World Cup finals. And it will be on the 4th of March, I think I'm right in saying, the day after the last of the women's relays. So half the team's now completed here in Antholz. They means we only have one race to go. The women's mass start in a couple of hours' time. Russia gets second place today, just behind the Norwegians. Germany in third.
Ja, Deutschland kann eigentlich möglich machen. Das ist ein junges Team, aber wir sehen ein motiviertes Team, die haben bereits Potenzial gezeigt. Und das freut mich sehr, sehr für die Trainer. Die so unter Kritik stehen, gegen gar nichts. Aber sie kämpfen und holen sich einen tollen, ohne Geld, ohne Johannes Grün. Is that the team of the United States with Sean Doherty, 14th position. Und da kommt noch der Tscheche Hatzlaik. Und zum Schluss auch noch Bulgarien, die Überholung vermieden haben, also damit sind alle Mannschaften im Ziel. Mission completed, race completed. What a spectacular relay competition Antholz 2022 with a win of the favorites. We have to say, also, man muss sagen, die Favoriten schlagen zu in super besetzten was für ein souveränes Rennen genießen sie zurückkommen. The great comebacking race of Team Russia and the fighting Germans. Das junge deutsche Team, das kämpft, als gäbe es kein Morgen, erkämpfen sie sich den dritten Platz hier. In Antholz, Frankreich, auf 5 mit dem Louis Barraud, die Überraschungsfünften, die Kanadier, mit einem tollen Ergebnis, die Ukraine.
Vetle, what a fantastic performance by the whole team, by yourself. You almost could enjoy the last loop. How important is this result before Beijing?
Oh yeah, It was a great performance from all the guys. I think it's one of our best relays, at least in my career. Almost winning by 2 minutes. It's like a dream, and now especially before the last relay before the Olympics, we won the 2 we raced before. We were a little bit unlucky with the IBU guys in the RuPaul League. Now we're back with the win, so it gains a lot of self-confidence before the Olympics, and also in the relay cup we set this very high, so we're very happy to win here.
You should be. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
No, adesso parto dalla camera. Ci vediamo a metà strada. Ciao.
Only me from Norway, I guess.
Yeah.
4 medals for me.
Igår var det jo natt, så det var litt sånn. Ja, den var bra, Ola, endelig. Nå skal vi bare kose oss, egentlig. Lykke til med forberedelsene. Ja, takk.
Frontal vorne. Ja, das ist am besten.
IDU World Cup Biathlon Antholz-Anterselva 2022. Awarding ceremony for the eighth competition. On third place, Germany. Over is Philipp Horn. Lukas Fatzer.
Muss es doch, gell? Danke. Soll ich ja noch einen drüber hängen, David? Danke. Können wir kurz helfen? Dankeschön. Danke dir.
Athletes are awarded by Mr. Jim Carberry, Executive Board Member from the IDU, and Mr. Lorenz Leitgeb from Antholz. On second place, Russia, Antholz-Anterselva, Daniil Sevastov, Alexander Laginov, Eduard Latipov. First place, Norway, Sturla Holmlegveit, Johannes Jørstad Christiansen. Christiansen, the winner. Russia on 2, Anton Babikov, Daniil Sevastov, Alexander Loginov, Eduard Latipov. Germany on 3, Roman Rees, Philipp Horn, David Sobel, Lukas Fatzer. Congratulations! Thank you, guys. And at 3 p.m. we will start with the 3:15 p.m. with the mass start of women's. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Gratuliere, pozdravляем.
15:15 wie Kollege Wiesner sagt. Geht's weiter. 15:15 abschließende Bewerb Antholz 2022.